It's Donald Trump also has become increasingly manic as the end of this campaign nears. You see more and more insanity from the people who from the people who weren't paying close attention. Any Jewish person that votes for Zohran Mamdani, a proven self-professed Jew hater, is a stupid person. Now, obviously, you're saying 11 likes, he fell off, but this is like an immediate screen grab. Okay, calm down. It is one of the most insane things I've seen. Okay, Deborah Messing is not an outlier of this sort. There are straight up people that are openly showcasing their mental deterioration on the fucking timeline, folks. It is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. People are so shameless in the absence of any sort of social mechanism, in the absence of people saying, hey man, maybe you shouldn't say that. You should think before you post. In this day and age where that kind of mental illness is rewarded, in the absence of that kind of like social stigma, this kind of like social pushback, you're seeing more and more people openly showcase their mental illness on the timeline. One of the people that I think clocked this from afar is Mike Isaac. I talked about this. On the Majority Report. Mike Isaac, a New York Times tech reporter, friend of the show, Mike Isaac, tweeted something about New York Post last night. He's just watching this stuff unfold from afar, right? And as someone in San Francisco that's watching this stuff unfold from afar, he said, as a California resident experiencing the Post Twitter coverage of this race over the past 6 months, it has been like watching a social media manager slowly descend into mania. Okay? He said this yesterday after the New York Post came out with their incredible reporting. Okay? A real banger. Another banger. This is sure to do it. How Zohran Mamdani's aloof wife, Rama Dawaji, quietly steered his campaign from behind the scenes. What the fuck are we doing? They're just fucking openly leaning into like mania. And I think it's genuine. I'm not even kidding. I think Zohran is straight up breaking the brains of a lot of people who were obviously receptive to having their minds break. That's some weak shit, dog. Guys, you don't understand. What I'm talking about is not necessarily that this is a successful line of attack. What I'm talking about is the fact that the New York Post thinks this is a successful line of attack. That is where the fucking insanity comes from. Do you not understand? The more desperate these guys have become, the more insane they have become. And the more open they are about their insanity, the more they lean into QAnon style thinking. Do you not understand? Like the very fact that Michael Bloomberg spent $3.5 million posterizing your boy, okay, as though I was like responsible for fucking 9/11 or some shit, in the last week leading up to this fucking election is insanity. $3.5 million from Michael Bloomberg on that ad slot that runs more than like Capital One ads on television. An ad slot that is not even determined to be successful. An ad slot that is just so insane because it makes people go, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? This is a funny take on the New York Post piece from Jessica Burbank. It says, they saw one of the most successful campaigns in history and thought a woman must have done this. Very woke. Thank you, New York Post. On the one hand, I think it's funny. And I want to say, oh, it's great that these guys have nothing. So they're just like flinging shit, okay? They're just flinging shit at the wall, see what sticks. But also on the other hand, the very fact that this is like even remotely successful in actually getting the attention of like average American voters is terrifying. Okay? It's terrifying to me because you have a fucking completely unblemished track record for a young, dynamic guy who ran on an affordability message and hammered that in and was very charismatic, very personable. A person that everyone has been waiting for, right? A person that like everyone from New York City all the way to fucking California, where liberal voters are like, that's the guy, that's what we needed. And yet there are still going to be tens of thousands of people that were duped and manipulated into voting against him. That is terrifying. That means people are infinitely more malleable. That still means that we have a long way ahead. We have our work cut out for ourselves. Have you been asked for comment by any media outlets? And if so, have you intentionally held back to keep from feeding the bullshit? No. I think a lot of the very same media outlets that have written all these like fucking glamorous profile pieces of myself have also been very cognizant of who and whose interest they serve. So they're just in a holding pattern at this point, from what I've seen, where they kind of moved in the direction of offering decent coverage to Zohran Mamdani, as opposed to like the unimaginably antagonistic coverage that they showed to Zohran Mamdani in the primaries. And we shall see. But it seems there's people reporting that there's bomb threats.
Concerning. And I think that it is an illustration of the attacks we're seeing on our democracy. Sometimes they're blatant and explicit in the manner of these bomb threats. And we have to understand this as part of the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate voters with baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country.
I don't know if he's going to get that question again today, but the general approach the Trump administration has taken to try and intimidate voters, unless we heard him incorrectly, what in the world is he talking about?
He is serving up a Kamala-sized...
What do you mean? What do you fucking mean? What do you mean? Donald Trump and everybody else on the Republican side are quite literally saying this is the most imminent threat to America, that he is going to do 9/11. There are literally actual congresspersons that are saying he's going to do fucking 9/11, man. What do you mean? These are the very same people, by the way, that turn around and go, oh, if you call out our fascist policies as fascist, that means you're trying to kill us. Okay? It's ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. He said he's going to pull funding from New York. Stephen Miller has endorsed Andrew Cuomo now. Another fucking, another glaringly obvious example of the uniparty attitude against an anti-establishment candidate. And unfortunately, you're seeing this mania come from Wall Street Journal op-eds too. Yeah, Zohran Mamdani's victory will imperil Jews and embolden totalitarians everywhere in the world. If New York falls, the entire free world may again totter on its foundations, writes BHL, Bernard Henry Levy. Okay? And of course, you know, no disrespect to the French, I think he is. But of course, this is a guy who I think, if I'm thinking of the same guy, this is a fucking literal pedophile, okay? The guy who wrote this Wall Street Journal op-ed is a straight up pedophile. Yeah. Oh, look at the reply. Never mind. Did Levy refer to rape of a 13-year-old child as a youthful error or not? That's because in many ways, reactions differed little. There was Whoopi Goldberg, the American actress, claiming to find some difference between Mr. Polanski did and what she called rape. And there was Bernard Henry Levy, the French celebrity intellectual, allowing as how Mr. Polanski, 43 at the time, perhaps had committed a youthful error. 43, raping a 13-year-old, 43-year-old Roman Polanski, raping a 13-year-old, and the guy who wrote that fucking piece on Zohran Mamdani said that it was a youthful error. Anyway, here's Stephen Miller endorsing.
As far as New York is concerned, as you talked about, as we've said, unfortunately, the anti-Mamdani vote is being split between Cuomo and Sliwa. And President Trump tonight put out a statement being clear that if you vote for Sliwa, who's polling at about a third of where Cuomo is, you're just throwing your vote away. The anti-Mamdani vote, which is really the pro-New York City vote, the pro-America vote, needs to unite behind the leading candidate, and that's Andrew Cuomo. As far as New York is concerned, as you've talked about, as we've said, unfortunately, the anti-Mamdani vote is being split between Cuomo and Sliwa. And President Trump tonight...
Bitch, if there is no other reason, and you don't actually need another reason other than the good policies that Mamdani's platform represents, but if you were looking for any other reason, these are some of the worst fucking shitheads that will suffer. Okay? These are some of the worst shitheads that are already losing their fucking minds. Okay? Mask off, neo-Nazis, they will be crying delicious and salty tears if, inshallah, Zohran Mamdani wins.
Senator, the next mayor of New York City. Hey! All right. How you doing, man? How you doing? All right. You're doing great, huh?
I'm doing better now.
What a politician!
I didn't know he was going to show up. He finally did show up.
All right, I'm going to be saying that you're inspiring the entire world. How's that?
Low pressure.
A little brush up. There's truth to it. No. There is a reason why the whole bloody world is watching this election.
He's right.
The story of this is not going to be the greatest thing we ever did to run this campaign. And it's going to be what we did after we won. So much of what is so difficult for so many in this moment is the feeling that they are merely subjects. This is a movement to change that.
For too long, my friends, freedom has belonged only to those who can afford to buy it. The oligarchs of New York, they do not want the equation to change. They will do everything they can to prevent their grip from weakening. The truth is as simple as it is non-negotiable. We are all allowed freedom.
What's the point of having an idea if you don't believe that you can implement it? What is the point of our politics that is forever theoretical? And it will be difficult, there will be contradictions, but really it's about your will. The things that we can do. It is an immense opportunity to deliver things that transform working people's lives.
And on November 4th, that is exactly what we will tell the world. We can make City Hall a place where New Yorkers come to expect the future, not just failure.
You really fucking inspired us. Stick up to the billionaires. Keep fighting the good fight. I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of in this campaign is not the successes, it's that we took so many swings. Because swinging is an example of being unsatisfied with the options that we currently see. It's an illustration of the fact that we have to build something more than this. That ethos that we need not wait for anyone else, it is an ethos I hope that many will carry with them. I want this to be the moment where more than 90,000 people are transformed into New Yorkers who are taking actions in different parts of their own lives to create the world that we all deserve.
What do you hope all these volunteers do after the campaign?
That they understand that this is part of a lifelong struggle, not an electoral one. You have joined a movement for the rest of your life. Now, however you want to be a part of that movement is your decision, just as long as you continue to be a part of it. They see themselves in this campaign. They see the arrogance that we have that these ideals could apply to us too.
Let City Hall, with our compassion, our conviction, and our clarity, be the light that our city and our nation so desperately need. Our time has come, New York. Our time is now. Thank you very much.
Voters at the polls nationwide across the country. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen.
This morning, New York City may be on the cusp of choosing a 34-year-old self-described democratic socialist with little political experience as its 111th mayor.
Zohran Mamdani is facing off against independent and former Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa.
While his opponents see nothing but fault, Zohran Mamdani's focus on affordability and a savvy social media-driven campaign striking a chord with voters looking for a change.
We stand on the verge of ushering in a new day for our city.
Mamdani tried to show a common touch, more like New Yorkers than their politicians.
Happy Tuesday, how we doing?
Visiting a club.
Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks!
Watching the Knicks from the nosebleeds, a contrast to his chief rival, Andrew Cuomo, who sat with the current mayor courtside. Cuomo, lagging in the polls, is accusing Mamdani of trying to turn the home of capitalism socialist.
My opponent is a socialist and wants to make New York City a socialist city, and socialism has not worked anywhere on the globe.
At the 11th hour, an endorsement for Cuomo from President Trump, who posted, "You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job," and threatening to withhold federal funds from the city if Mamdani wins. Overnight, Cuomo trying to distance himself from Trump's endorsement.
He's not endorsing me. He's opposing Mamdani.
Mamdani calling Cuomo the president's puppet.
They share the same small vision. They share the same sense of impunity.
Trump called in to campaign events for Republican candidates in Virginia and New Jersey, where a bitter race between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill is barreling toward the finish line.
You need to go out and vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who's a great guy, a friend of mine.
The Trump-backed Ciattarelli hitting the trail with his son, who returned from serving overseas.
I could not be more excited. The energy up and down the state has been off the charts.
While Sherrill's trying to turn out key Democratic voters.
I believe that with all of you, New Jersey will continue to be a beacon of light and hope for people across the country, across the world, but certainly for people across New Jersey.
A year from the midterm elections, the elections today are an early test of what the country thinks of President Trump and his agenda. They're also a test, guys, for the Democratic Party and whether its future looks more like a moderate Mikey Sherrill or more like Zohran Mamdani. Guys?
Okay, Aaron, thanks. This is our Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein, also our Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce.
I need you guys to understand something. Like, obviously, there are those who are watching closely exactly what the margins will look like. And I can predict with absolute certainty exactly what the messaging is going to look like in the aftermath of this. They've already started. The centrist establishment Democrats have already started talking about, here, yeah, I'll let in the light of the divine, the heaven's mandate into this room. Centrist Democrats have already started talking about how, like, oh, Spanberger has a higher margin of victory than Zohran Mamdani, all this stuff. And they are going to make idiotic comparisons as though we haven't been paying close attention. And many people have not been paying close attention to what's going on in this race. So they have no idea the metric ton of shit that the Mamdani campaign had to deal with, and the very fact that there was a spoiler with a dynastic name still, right, that was running as a real Democrat, even though he was running as an independent. Central Committee says, my official prediction was 56% yesterday with a range of 52 to 60. Reports on the ground reflected the polls missed again, and I think we may be entering landslide territory, but we need to see the early votes before we relax too much. I've read the Michael Lang analysis. I understand where people are coming from. I will not say anything. I already gave you my prediction. I said somewhere in the 55 range, and that the surprising vote would be from the 55 plus category that a lot of people think is supposed to go in Cuomo's direction. But then again, we shall see. I am not going to say anything. I am just saying I'm hoping and I'm praying. There's never been, I'm not exactly a very spiritual person, but I will say that I have been praying to whatever deity is out there